Jockstrap is an art-pop, glitch-pop, electronic music duo originating from London, England, consisting of Black Country New Road violinist Georgia Ellery and electronic music producer Taylor Sky. They met at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London. Who cares? Black Country New Road is one of my favorite bands of all time, obviously, despite them being such a young and new band, which makes it even more odd as to why I didn't check out Jockstrap sooner. When I finally checked out their debut album, I Love You Jennifer B, I wasn't immediately hooked, but there were a few songs that had me keep coming back and revisiting it, and after a while I was able to revisit the whole album enough to fully appreciate it. It was about a month after first listening to them that I finally got to appreciate Jennifer B as a whole, and I soon got sucked down the Jockstrap rabbit hole due to getting the chance, or thinking that I would get the chance, to see them live. I ended up missing this chance because my friend and I showed up to the venue. It was 21 and over. We didn't realize that. Oh well. So with Jockstrap's new album out and getting the chance to see them live, I decided to go through Jockstrap's back catalog, and I was instantly hooked. Not by their EP Wicked City, which came out in 2020 during the pandemic, although Robert did the song off of that EP, the opening song, Robert, did get me talking with a friend about it because it was just so weird and eccentric. I have ended up revisiting Wicked City, and I can say it is a very good EP. Not as good as their 2018 debut EP though, Love is Key to the City, which from introduction to end had me looking at my phone to see the names of the songs and even look at the lyrics because some of them are very wacky. To state the obvious, the two members of Jockstrap are horny as hell. At multiple points throughout their catalog, I have had to look at the pull up my phone and look at the lyrics to make sure I was hearing them right, because it is so down bad. It is shocking. It is absolutely shocking. This includes all of their works, Wicked City, I Love You Jennifer B, and the remix EP of Love is Key to the City, but I would argue that Love is Key to the City is their most down bad project that they've made. It is to the point that the sexual explicitity is ridiculous. When I first listened to this about like a week ago, I was I had to stop what I was doing and look at the lyrics to make sure, like, am I hearing this right? Like, I'm not gonna say any of the lyrics here that are extremely sexually explicit, but the best example song-wise from this EP is probably the song Charlotte. Although each of the songs on the album were to be featured on different albums by different artists, each of the songs would be the horniest on the album that they are respectively featured on. Even the largely ambient and string-arranged intro song, Wet, starts off with what sounds like, to me, as Georgia in the shower singing. Also, this is kind of absurd, but even the title, Wet, can be interpreted to be sexually explicit. But while the lyrics kept me looking at my phone, the instrumentals kept me looking at the track names. From the bossa nova of I Want Another Affair to the beautifully catchy pop melodies on Haley, all mixed with instances of bit pop here and there and glitch throughout its entire run. Jockstrap is able to keep the whole EP engaging and sonically interesting. I really don't want to play down the work for the fantastic instrumentation on this EP, but it is kind of hard to describe exactly what they do, especially comparing a song like Haley, which is decently upbeat and danceable for the project, to that of like Charlotte, which for its entire duration is a slow burner that is largely quiet, glitchy, and moody, intertwined with a noisy section on the back end of the song. However, this doesn't mean that the music is unfocused, as George's beautiful voice and string arrangements, mixed with Taylor's stellar electronic and glitchy production style, match very well with each other and create very consistent yet varied sound throughout the project. But that variability does come at the cost of possible accessibility, not to mention some of the more eccentric parts of the production being less accessible to most audiences. If you want to show a friend Jockstrap, this is not the place to start. Maybe the song Haley might be considered decently accessible and pretty good, honestly, a pretty good song to show to your friends for the first time if you're trying to get them into jockstrap. But unless you want to just make your friends laugh at some wacky lyrics and production choices, for example, the transition between the first half and the second half of the song Joy, as well as the entirety of the second half of that song, I would personally start by showing your friends practically anything from I Love You Jennifer B compared to anything off of this EP. Probably the biggest example of the lack of accessibility on this project is the aforementioned song Charlotte, which is now one of my favorite songs of the project, if not the favorite song of the project. But it did take me a bit for me to come around to it fully. The song is dark, it's dreary, it's gloomy, and most of all, it's incredibly minimal. As I mentioned before, it is a slow burner, but that slowness throughout the entire song really adds to the atmosphere of it. The minimalism also adds to the feel, as George's lo-fi and largely glitchy manipulated vocals are over these super dissonant and quiet synths with very slow and glitchy drums throughout. And this slowness all builds to a super cathartic release near the back end of the track. All of these noisy synths and drums that are super glitchy and manipulated, with this absolutely gorgeous but not overpowering string section. This quickly transitions into the last leg of the song, which is even quieter than the rest of the song. George's even more lo-fi vocals complete it, and complete the story of the song as well on this final verse. I assume the song is about a narrator who is a woman, since she is sung from the perspective of Georgia, and it's about her relationship with this woman named Charlotte, who she is having a one-night stand with and doesn't really seem to know at all. The last verse strikes me especially strong for whatever reason, where Georgia sings, "I want to have you again, this time sober, in bed with wine, when shot into the red eye of the morning, we fall asleep yawning." It's a very impactful image to me and a really fantastic way to end the song. The rest of the songs are also incredibly strong, both lyrically and instrumentally, but I just cannot talk about them as much as I can about Charlotte. Go check out Jockstrap if you haven't, for whatever reason, and thanks so much for watching.